Welcome, everyone. I'm Sarah, and this is my friend Annie Smith, and we are so excited to share part of her testimony with you guys today. I think it's going to bless you so much. So, Annie, why don't you start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Yeah, I was born and raised, my name's Annie Waganka Smith. I was born and raised in a small town in southwest Michigan and moved around the country a little bit. And then my former husband, or my husband at the time, and I moved here in 1998 for a job when my oldest son was 4 months old. And then 17 months after Kenan was born, twins came upon the scene, and the family grew. So
You say that so nonchalantly, like
right?
twins came up on the scene. You had twins!
Yeah, it was kind of exciting.
And boys, right?
Yeah. 3 boys. Love the boys. So yeah, it was kind of crazy, and unfortunately, my husband and I did get divorced, but and so when the boys were really young, so they were like, the twins were 18 months when we separated, and so that is unfortunate. But I just really can see God's hand on them throughout the time that they were growing up. Yeah. So, and then I was going to a different church at the time, but in 2010, someone invited me to a series here at Substance, and so we started coming here, and it just felt like home, and so we've been here ever since 2010. So it's been and just been very involved and love it here.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. Tell us a little bit more about your boys,
Oh,
because I mean, your two of your boys, your 2 younger ones, are so incredibly a part of all the things going on here. And even my 13-year-old son, you guys know, Caleb, loves serving at church. I've shared that story with you guys before. Well, Annie, part of the reason is because of your son. I mean, Joel has been a big influence in his life. So just share a little bit about them.
Sure. Well, my oldest son, not as many people might know him, but he was serving here. He's very involved here all the way growing up, and then he went off to the Navy, but he was on the Substance Worship before he left, and now he's engaged to be married and lives in North Carolina. So
Yay.
Very exciting, yeah. And then Joel is working on his master's degree at Bethel Seminary, and is very involved with the Substance youth on Sunday mornings. He helps mentor and coach them, the kids to help in Substance Kids, which is great. And then Micah is now in his 2nd year of teaching, and he's a middle school PE teacher and just really loves it, and he's so good with those kids. And so he also helps out with Sunday mornings. He's gives extra support to kids that need a little extra support, and then also he helps out with the preteen boys on Wednesday nights. So. Yeah.
Very involved.
Very involved. Yeah.
Which they follow in your footsteps, because you're very involved too.
Oh, I
specifically
also
with
help
kids.
out with Substance Kids. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the majority of parenting your kids, you are a single mom.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
And still currently.
Yes.
I mean, we're mom forever.
yes.
Even when our kids
absolutely.
are old.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you share with us some of the just hard times, working through some hard things, being a single mom?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was a bumpy road. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, life was messy. It was messy, but I can see God's hand looking back. It was, my family wasn't here. They were in Michigan. I didn't have the family support, and my money was tight. So, and I wasn't always the best at getting all the, having it all together. And one time, our electricity was cut off because I forgot to pay the electric bill, and I just thought we're gonna make a fun night of this, and so we got all the candles out, and we just had a really fun, good time with it, and the boys have fond memories of that night, and I just tried to do things like that. And then another time that I think about that was, bedtime was always really difficult with the boys. They outnumbered me. They could run really fast, even when they were toddlers.
Yeah.
And so, one night, bedtime was very rough, and Micah didn't want to go to sleep. So next thing I knew, someone was yelling, "Mom, Micah's running down the street." And so he's, in his pull-up and cowboy boots, he's running down the street, and, me in my nightgown, one of them's yelling, "Mom, call the police." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And in moments like that, I mean, I caught him, and it was a very, very slow street, and like it was a dead end. But, he was okay. But it was, there were moments like that when I was just like, "Lord, please help me."
Yeah.
Do I have it in me to do this, But he always gave me what I needed, I mean, somehow I got through it. But
Yeah.
God was always there,
It's different
So,
doing things alone.
it
Parenting
really
alone,
is.
navigating everything
Yeah.
on your own.
Yeah.
And yet I'm so thankful that you can look back and say, I mean, I just heard you say God was always there.
God was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is a huge promise. I think it's so important that we realize and remember in any stage of our life and the challenges that we're going through that God is always there. And we might not always see it, but he is. And we can trust that.
He is.
So you said that you cried out to the Lord, God help. How else did you navigate some of those challenging times?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, there are times when I struggle with my faith, but I would say when it came to my kids, I just always had this strong faith that God had them, and I could rest in that to an extent, and so, or I could rest in that. And so, just knowing that God had them, and I just started praying at a young age that, God would bring people into their lives to mentor them, bring men, into their lives who could speak truth and speak, be an example of character and godliness. And and then, God he did, even at that time, we had good friends that we had met at church, and we kind of helped raise our kids together. And they reminded me, because I was asking them, well, what did I do during that time? And they were like, you were really good at just letting your boys be who they were, and that like rowdy, explorative, adventurous and playful. And, I did, had to rein them in from time to time. But I mean, it was really, I enjoyed that about them, enjoyed them being, just seeing them be who they were. And yeah. So,
thankful for. I'm just wanted to point out, thankful for you having community, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you had said you found other people at church, and you kind of grew your kids together.
Yes.
Grew up together.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so crucial. I mean, especially not having family there. I mean, my friends were my family.
Yeah.
And so, they really. And I can look back and just see how God brought different people at different times into our lives, and to support and speak into our lives, and it was just, He is faithful. He's faithful.
Amen.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, He is.
Well, share a time or two
sure.
about that, like how a difficult time or a challenging situation, and then you can look back and say, oh, but I saw God in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a couple times that I specifically think about from time to time. One time my job changed, and I had the schedule changed, and I had to be there earlier than I had been, and which meant that I couldn't be there when the boys were getting ready and to get on the bus and for school. But they were old enough to be home alone, just barely. They're at that age, and I was just so anxious about it, and I wanted to be there. I really wanted to be there. My mom heart wanted to be there, but. So I remember the day came, and they did it, and I was full of anxiety, and although I was praying, and they, for some reason, at the end of the day, I just remember asking, well, how'd it go? And they're like, oh, it's fine. It was so anticlimactic. And they just, honestly, I can see how God built responsibility in them, and I never had to ever, really work at getting them up in the morning, or they just, God used that to help them, I think, just be responsible about getting up and getting ready. And it just, I'm thankful for that, and as I look back. And then I also think about, we had a pretty small place. We had a 2-bedroom little place, so all my boys were in one room. And they could get on each other's nerves, like most kids, right? Do kids do that from time to time? And there was a specific period of time when they were in middle school, and I thought, oh my gosh, Joel and Kenan, they absolutely have to have their own rooms. I mean, they just, they were just going at it. And so I kept praying for, like, that God would give us a different place that would be bigger, And he did not answer my prayer that way. And yet, so through it, we tried to work through these things, and like, I just helped them think about how God created them differently and uniquely, and how Kenan always needed a tap, and had music in his head and always needed a tap, and Joel needed quiet. And, I'd talk about how, well, God created Joel like that. And so we need to respect how each other is, and appreciate how each other is made by God, and, excuse me, and like give each other space when we need it. And so, we just kind of had to work through those things. And to this day, we look back, and all three of us, four of us, where, like, them being in the same room has really helped them to be just really close brothers. Like, they are just really tight. And I just love it. Like, I'll walk into the room, and Joel's talking to someone, and I realize it's Kenan, they're just FaceTiming, and I just love it that they're so close. Yeah. And that's what I really think that was a big part of it.
Yeah, that's
so
beautiful.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful. I'm thankful too that you can look back and see some of those things. So
yeah,
it's good. It's good for all of us to hear that. Really,
right?
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so I have a very intentional question.
Okay.
I am curious. In your time, did you ever have the thought of like, if I could just have a husband, everything would be better?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought that a lot. I mean, I think that's a pretty natural thought when you're a single mom.
Of course.
And I certainly did, and I did date some. But I, again, looking back, I go, I am thankful for the time, and that I was really able to just focus on my boys. And so it'd be great if God would answer that prayer, one day soon here. But yeah, no, I am thankful that I was able to really just focus on my boys. So, yeah.
So what about having men influences in their life then? I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but like, what did that actually look like? How did they get good, godly men influences?
Yeah. Well, really, I mean, once we started coming to Substance, we were very intentional about getting them, I was very intentional about getting them plugged in here, and Substance Youth was just unbelievable for them. I mean, the people who served, the men who served in it, and the women as well, but God just really worked through the men at Substance in my kids' lives. And so I'd say really it was Substance, just the programs here, everything we have here that really helped my kids. I mean, they've connected just so many amazing, godly people. So, yeah.
And really, I mean, kudos to you, though. I just want to mention, because like, they wouldn't make those connections if you hadn't have brought them and encouraged them and said, this is our culture of our family. This is what we do. We come.
Yeah.
We go to church. We go to youth. All those things. So it's just, you can't hardly help but find amazing people, right?
So true.
In our church.
So true.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that all of us moms desire for, and I hope this is okay that I speak for all of y'all, but we all want our kids to grow up loving Jesus and being godly men and women.
Yeah.
How did your kids are phenomenal. What did you do? How did you do it?
I mean, I will say, and honestly, like, it was bumpy, as I said before, it was messy, but I say, but by the grace of God, I truly do. I mean, I can't, I don't feel like I had any particular, like, special things that I did, except just try to teach them to pray. I pray with them, and teach them to love one another. I think I was intentional about teaching them, empathy, and in the moment, in the teaching moments when they're interacting with each other or with their friends, and those kinds of things. But I think that just pray. I just prayed for them, and I just see how God answered it. I don't know. I don't think what else I
honestly,
might have done.
Well, really,
Yeah.
honestly, that is really encouraging.
Yeah.
It's not like you did all these wow, amazing, perfect 5-step, this is how
Yeah,
my kids are
absolutely.
going to know. Like, I
No.
just appreciate that. And I hope you guys feel encouraged hearing that too, because, I mean, but by the grace of God.
Absolutely.
And
But by
God's
the grace of
grace
God.
that He
Yeah.
gave you,
Yeah.
He's given all of us too.
Yeah.
Right? So,
It's true.
thank you. Thank you
Oh,
for
you're
sharing your
so
testimony.
welcome.
Thank you for your authenticity and your vulnerability. And I really respect you dearly. I am so thankful that we get to work together in kids and see your kids shine and influence others. So, and I'm just believing that that's going to be a story for all of us as well. So, God bless you guys. Enjoy your discussion. We'll see you next time.